So the last class in the fungi which we discussed is deuteromycetes. So deuteromycetes are the fungi which we are saying them as imperfect fungi. They are called imperfect fungi because in this fungi there is no sexual reproduction till now discovered. And we are also in opinion that when sexual forms or sexual reproduction is discovered, based upon the features, it may be entering into ascomycetes or basidiomycetes. So their mycelium is separate and branched. They also form asexual spores which are known as conidia. So majority of these deuteromycetes fungi are saprophytes, some are parasites, some are decomposers. These deuteromycetes fungi will help in mineral recycling, which is a very, very important. Three examples of the fungi given in NCERT are Alternaria, Coleototrichum, last one is Trichoderma. So these are the three examples, right? So this is the fungi kingdom. So Monera, Protista, fungi. Next we have plant kingdom. Next we have animal kingdom. So plant kingdom, anyhow we have to discuss separately in separate lesson. But some points which we are given that I want to mention here in the plant kingdom and in the animal kingdom. Anyhow we have started.
Sir, example of deuteromycetes.
I wrote no Alternaria, Coleototrichum, and Trichoderma. These are the three examples.
Yes, sir.
Of the deuteromycetes fungi. So you have to compulsorily remember these three examples. Okay. So for every phylum, for every class, NCERT examples compulsorily you have to discuss. What you can say, remember them, and you have to remember. You have to make a written practice for that. Okay. At end, I want to share you one important thing. You remind me after the completion of the session for 2 minutes. I will share you some important thing. So this is clear fungi. You understood clearly what is fungi, what is everything. Everything is vivid for you. Any confusions are there? Right. So can you say what is the name of unicellular fungi?
Yeast.
Yeast. Multicellular fungi. Any one example? So do fungi act as symbionts?
Yes, sir.
So can you do the example?
So multicellular fungi can be agaricus.
Right. Which is the fungi used in biochemical work, genetic work?
Neurospora.
Neurospora.
Neurospora, very good. Neurospora is used as multicellular, in genetical work. Now next one is plant A. So we are discussing only outline features. Anyhow, we have separated lesson, plant kingdom, animal kingdom. Anyhow, we have started discussing. So now what is plant A? Now water plants. So plant A kingdom includes eukaryotic organisms, multicellular. All plants are multicellular.
Chlorophyll containing.
Okay. So जितने भी plants हैं उनमें chlorophyll होता है. So all are autotrophs only. Majority of the plants are autotrophs because they are able to make their own food. But there are some heterotrophs also in the plant. There are some heterotrophs also. Heterotrophs, which is nothing but parasitic plants. Okay. So they will capture the insects and they will eat. Okay, some plants will capture the insects and they will eat the insects. We have one example, famous example, Venus flytrap plant. This is a parasitic plant. There is another example known as bladder bug. This is also a parasitic plant which will eat the insects for fulfilling.
Sir, Venus flytrap is an insectivorous plant. It is not parasitic.
Yeah, insectivorous plant. Yeah, very good. So it is not parasitic. So it is insectivorous plant. So it will be capturing the insects and it is eating, not as a food, but only to fulfill the nitrogen requirement. So this insectivorous plants generally they will be growing in nitrogen deficient soils. So nitrogen is needed for the growth and development of the plants. So to fulfill their nitrogen requirement, these plants will capture the insects, and from that insects they will get the nitrogen. Okay, so not as a food they are eating, but as to fulfill the nitrogen deficiency only, they are eating the insects. So another many examples are there. Another one is bladderwort is also an example. Pitcher plant is also there as an example. But you remember these two examples. Now, when you go for the classification of the plants, so plant kingdom, total plant kingdom consists of, first it starts with algae, then it has bryophytes, then it has pteridophytes, okay, then it has gymnosperms, and lastly we have angiosperms. So this is the plant classification. So in the entire plant kingdom, you will be studying first algae, then bryophytes, then pteridophytes, then gymnosperms, then angiosperms. So angiosperms are most evolved plants. Angiosperms are the modern plants. Algae are the old plants. Okay. So in the plant kingdom, first we will be discussing algae, then bryophyte, then pteridophyte, then gymnosperm, then angiosperm. Right? Again, when you go for the life cycle, so the plants exhibit two phases in their life cycle. One is known as sporophytic stage, and another one is known as gametophytic stage. It means plant may be in a sporophytic stage, and after the sporophytic stage completes, it will form a gametophytic stage. Now, what is a sporophyte? Sporophyte is a sporophyte is an entity which forms the spores. Gametophyte will form the gametes. Okay, so now in the higher plants, you cannot see this gametophytic state. So in higher plants, sporophytic stage is going to be dominant. But in the lower plants like algae and bryophytes and pteridophytes, you can see two stages: sporophytic stage of the plant and gametophytic stage of the plant. But in gymnosperms and angiosperms, you can only see clearly sporophytic stage. And now, what is this sporophytic stage and gametophytic stage? When we enter into the plant kingdom, at that time you will be clearly understanding. So, for the instant, you remember in the life cycle of the plant, there are two stages. One is sporophytic stage, it produces spores. Another one is gametophytic phase, which produces gametes, male gamete and female gamete. Okay. So, life cycle. So, we have two stages: sporophyte and gametophyte. Now, sporophyte will be producing spores and gametophyte will be producing gametes. Okay, male gamete and female gamete. So generally, sporophyte will be diploid. So you represent diploid as 2n, and gametophyte will be haploid. I am representing it with n. N means haploid, 2n means diploid. Okay. So now these phases occur alternatively one after another. It means sporophytic stage के बाद gametophytic stage आएगा, फिर स्पोरोफाइटिक स्टेज आएगा. ये जो लाइफ साइकिल जो है चलते रहे, जिसको ही हम बोलते हैं अल्टरनेशन ऑफ जनरेशन. Alternation of generation means what? One generation
Metagenesis.
one generation alternates with the another generation. So sporophytic cell, sporophytic sporophyte, after the sporophyte gametophyte, then sporophyte, then gametophyte, it will be continuing. So generally plants will exhibit alternation of generation. Okay. So in the life cycle of the plants, you will be seeing alternation of generation. And this alternation of generation was discovered by the scientist Hofmeister. So Hofmeister was the scientist who have discovered this alternation of generation. Okay. So in the plant kingdom, we will be detailedly discussing about the algae general features and classification, bryophytes general features, life cycle and classification, pteridophytes general features, classification, life cycle. So all the plants we are going to discuss in detail in the plant kingdom. But at the instant of Whitaker's classification, so all the plants which are there, they are included in the plant kingdom, and all the animals which are there, they are included in the animal kingdom. Okay. So when you go for animals, you know very well animals are heterotrophic, eukaryotic, multicellular. They exhibit holozoic nutrition. So different features are there in animals. They have notochord, some may not have the notochord, germ layers, open circulation, closed circulation, so symmetry. So animals exhibit wide variety of the features which we have already discussed in the animal kingdom. And in the animal kingdom, what we are discussing? We are discussing about the classification of the animal kingdom, non-chordates, hemichordates, chordates. In non-chordates, we discussed up till mollusca, right? So here you have to remember that according to Whitaker's five kingdom classification, there are five kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. So Animalia is the last kingdom. We have started discussing Animalia. And after this Whitaker's five kingdom classification, there are some agents which are not included in Whitaker's five kingdom classification. Virus and lichens, they are not included in Whitaker's five kingdom classification. Now the question comes, why the virus and lichens are not included in the five kingdom classification? All the things which we have to study in the session 2 of biological classification separately. Virus, lichens, this we have to study separately. Okay, so they are not included in our five kingdom classification due to some different regions. So in the five kingdom classification, up till animal kingdom only, up till animal kingdom is included. So when we are discussing animal kingdom, so this animal kingdom is a part of Whitaker's five kingdom classification only. Plant kingdom is part of Whitaker's five kingdom classification. But we separate here. कि जब प्लांट किंगडम आता है तो फिर उसको अलग से हम इसलिए पढ़ते हैं कि क्योंकि इट इज अ वास्ट किंगडम. तो प्लांट किंगडम में इतने सारे क्लासिफिकेशंस है, एनिमल किंगडम में भी बहुत सारे क्लासिफिकेशंस है. So this is the story of biological classification part 1. Here we have to again discuss about the virus, lichens, that when the time comes according to the schedule, at that time I will explain. So I hope Whitaker's five kingdom classification and biological classification lesson is very crystal clear to you. If you have any confusions, now you can ask me. Only the thing is that you have to read again and again to remember all the points. Yes. थोड़ा मेमोरी ओरिएंटेड है तो बार बार उसको पढ़ के. हाँ.
So what is difference between viruses and viroids?
See, virus is the protein coated genetic material. Okay. So virions are only protein coats. Sorry, genetic material, not protein code. Okay. So what is virus?
Okay,
Virus
sure.
is a genetic material along with the protein code. Okay. So now there are some structures which are infectious. Sometimes protein coat is also infectious. When protein coat is infectious, we say it as prion. When only genetic material is infectious, we say it as virioid. And we have also another term, virion also. Virion. Single virus, we say it as virion. Okay, when singular virus is plural, virion is the singular one. Okay. Understood, Shravani? Shravani. So this is the total story of our Whitaker's five kingdom classification. Right. So any questions related to five kingdom classification? Other students, Ishwari, any question from five kingdom classification? Chanchal, Bhumika, Kuber, Yana, any question? You have messaged or something?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay. Meet is present today? Yeah,
Yes,
Meet.
sir.
Any question?
No, sir.
Savani? Savani? Okay. Sambodhi?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay. Rutuja? So you all make the written practice of the examples. तो examples को आप जैसा फ्लो चार्ट में लिख लेके एक प्लेस पे लिख के उसको 5-6 बार लिखते रहो तो याद रहेंगे वो, क्योंकि एग्जाम्पल्स को तो मेमोराइज ही करना है. So if you write more times then you can be easily remembering the all the examples. Because इसमें प्रॉब्लम है कि एग्जाम्पल्स को याद रखना ही थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन टाइप है, प्रॉब्लमेटिक है. बट इफ यू प्रैक्टिस रिटन प्रैक्टिस यू डू यू कैन रिमेम्बर, राइट. Now when we speak about the animal kingdom, we started the story from the porifera, we completed up till mollusca, and the last phylum in the non-chordate is Echinodermata. Derma, dermatogen, dermatology related to skin, right? We go to a dermatologist when we have any skin related problems. Now echino means spine, kate. So what is echinodermata? So echinodermata are the animals whose skin is spiny. So spiny skinned animals are included in echinodermata. Okay. So generally the animals which belong to echinodermata will have spiny skin. This spiny skin helps them in the protection only, right? So now we are going to discuss about the general features of the phylum, last phylum of non-chordata, that is Echinodermata. And can you say octopus belongs to which phylum? Octopus,
Mollusca.
mollusca, soft-bodied animal. Very good. Echinodermata. Okay. Now echinos or echino means spine, skin. So based upon this, we are giving the name. Now spiny skin, unsedimented animals. So echinodermates do not show sedimentation. Who will show sedimentation? What are the phylums which are showing sedimentation?
Annelida and Arthropoda only show true
Annelida and
segmentation.
Arthropoda will show true sedimentation. False sedimentation is exhibited by.
Platyhelminthes and Aschelminthes.
Very good, very good. So Platyhelminthes and Aschelminthes will exhibit false sedimentation. So in echinodermates, there is no question of sedimentation. Body is not divided into sediments, right? Now all echinodermates, all are marine. All echinodermates are marine, live in ocean and sea water. They have organ system level. Organ system level of organization. And another prominent feature is that they have endoskeleton. Endoskeleton means what? The skeleton which is present inside the body is known as endoskeleton. We also have endoskeleton. Our endoskeleton is made up of bones. They have endoskeleton made of ossicles. So here we say the bones, bone-like structures in echinodermates as ossicles. Okay, and these ossicles are made up of calcium. So they have the endoskeleton made up of ossicles. Ossicles are made up of calcium carbonate. So we are saying calcareous. Calcareous means calcium containing. Siliceous means silicon containing. Okay. So echinodermates में endoskeleton है और endoskeleton जो है ossicle से बना हुआ है और ये ossicles जो है they are made up of calcium. Okay. Now another prominent feature you can see in echinodermates is that echinodermates are radially symmetrical animals, but larva of the echinodermate is bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, so adults are radially symmetrical. Yes, I am writing for symmetry. In the echinodermates, adults are radially symmetrical. Larva is bilaterally symmetrical. Okay. Now in molluscans, what is the prominent feature which is going to change the symmetry? In molluscans, one prominent feature will occur.
Torsion.
Huh?
Torsion.
Very good, torsion. Okay. So in echinodermids, how the adults are? Adults are radially symmetrical, but the larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. So this is also a prominent feature of the echinodermids. So echinodermids are finely skinned, unsegmented animals. Echinodermids have the endoskeleton, which is made up of ossicles. The ossicles are made up of calcium carbonate. All echinodermids are organ system level of organization they exhibit, and all echinodermids are marine animals, live in oceanic water. Now, another feature is that when you see the echinodermids, they have some radiating surfaces from the body. Okay, these radiating structures which emerge from the body, they are called ambulacra. They are called as what? So, if you suppose this is a starfish, like this way, they have, these are the radiating surfaces. Radiating surfaces. So, these radiating surfaces of the echinodermids, they are called as ambulacra. Okay, every echinodermid contains these radiating surfaces. Okay, these radiating surfaces or these radiating areas are called ambulacra. So generally 5 will be there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So generally echinodermid's body consists of 5 radiating regions, and these radiating regions are called ambulacrae. Okay, and these ambulacrae generally they help in protection. Okay, so the function of this ambulacra is what? They generally help the echinodermids to protect themselves. Apart from this, the anyhow the body contains spines, satae, okay, and body also contains some pincer-like structures which are called as pedicellariae. All these structures will protect the body from the predator animals. As the echinodermids are living in the ocean water, many animals attack these echinodermids, right? So to protect themselves, they may use ambulacrae, they may use spines, they may use pincers to protect themselves from the predators. But still, sometimes they may become prey to the predator animals. Okay, so these things, 3 things you remember. First, spiny skinned, unsedimented animals. All are marine organ system level. They have endoskeleton made up of ossicles. Adults are radially symmetrical and larvae is bilaterally symmetrical. Now next is echinodermids have 5 symmetrically radiating areas. They have 5 symmetrically radiating areas. Which we are saying it as what? Ambulacra. Okay, which is called as what? Ambulacra. So 5 symmetrically means all ambulacra are equal in size. बड़ा छोटा नहीं है, 5 उंगली अलग अलग है, बट इनके जो ambulacra है सभी इक्वल साइज के होते हैं, इसलिए हम बोलते हैं 5 symmetrically radiating, all are of equal size. Okay.
Sir, is locomotion is the function of ambulacra?
No, locomotion is not the main function of the ambulacra. Okay, they basically help in protection only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next is, anyhow you know that echinodermids, they have spines. So the body of the echinodermids is exclusively made up of spines, small spines. Okay. Apart from that, Fins are like pedicellariae. So now spines are very small structures, like this way they will be there very small, but pincers will be little bit big in size. Okay, so if you see the body of the echinodermids, so like this way starfish will be there. Okay, these are the ambulacrae, and they have some small minute spines on the body and big spines which are known as what, pedicellariae on the body. So anyhow, spines are helping in protection. They will protect the echinodermids. Pedicellariae, when you go for the function of the pedicellariae, they clean the body surface. Okay, if as these organisms are living inside the oceanic water, some marine small animals, small organisms may deposit on echinodermids. This pedicellariae will clean off all the marine debris which is present on their body. So they are cleaning the body. So the main function of pedicellariae is to clean the body. Okay, so spines protective in function, and this pedicellariae cleans the body. Remember. Okay, so this pedicellariae is using to clean the body surface, because the body of the echinodermis sometimes may get deposited with the dead, decaying debris and all the waste material, minute organisms. So this pedicellariae will help to clean the body. Now in this echinodermis, like in the poriferans, they also have water vascular system. This water vascular system is very important feature of echinodermids. Poriferans also they have water vascular system. So this water vascular system which is present in echinodermids, it helps in locomotion. It also helps in capture of food. It also helps in transport of food. It also helps in respiration. Okay, so they have water vascular system. This is the most striking feature. So echinodermids will have water vascular system. So water vascular system का काम क्या है? Helps in locomotion, capture of food, right? Transport of food, and it also helps in respiration. This is a very prominent feature of echinodermids, that echinodermids will have water vascular system. This water vascular system is helping in locomotion, capturing of the food, transport of the food, and respiration. Now when you speak about the digestive system, okay, so digestive system is complete. They have mouth and anus. Digestive system is complete. Complete means alimentary canal is having mouth and anus. So these echinodermids will have the mouth and clear anus. Now, these echinodermids will possess different types of respiratory organs. Okay, some echinodermids, in majority of the echinodermids, water vascular system is helping in the respiration. So you know very well that water contains dissolved oxygen, and when that water enters into the body, this dissolved oxygen is taken by the echinodermids, and CO2 which is formed inside the body is given out. That process we are saying it as diffusion. Exchange of gases is going to take place by a simple process which is known as diffusion. What is diffusion? Diffusion is the movement of the particles from higher concentration to lower concentration. So in the echinodermids, maximum respiration is going to take place with the help of water vascular system only. But few echinodermids possess some special structures for respiration. Okay, so the special structures are respiratory organs. So few echinodermids are possessing respiratory organs. So starfish, when you see, it will be having dermal branchiae. Dermal branchiae. These are some structures. which are present in starfish, which is very very famous. It looks like star, so we say it as starfish. Okay. Now there are some structures known as respiratory trees, which is also called tube feet or respiratory tree. Okay. So this respiratory tree is present in a echinodermate organism which is known as Holothuria. In Holothuria, respiration takes place by respiratory tree. And some have bursae. These are also some special structures of respiration. Bursae is present in brittle star. This is also an echinodermate animal. The name you remember, brittle star. Okay. Some have gills, which are called peristomal gills. These peristomal gills are present in an organism known as Echinoidea. Echinoidea. Okay. So in the maximum of echinodermates, respiration is taking place by water vascular system, but some of the echinodermates will possess some special structures for respiration. Dermal branchia are present in starfish, respiratory tree present in Holothuria, bursae in brittle star, peristomal gills in Echinoidea. Apart from this, majority of the echinodermates, they respire with the help of water vascular system. They locomote with the help of water vascular system. They capture the food with the help of water vascular system. They transport the food with the help of water vascular system. But pedicellaria which are present in the echinodermates, they are aiding or they are helping to some extent in locomotion and in capture of food. Spines are only protective in function. Pedicellaria, it only cleans the body. But that structures, ambulacrae, which are 5 radiating structures, to some extent they may help in the locomotion, but entire locomotion of our echinodermates takes place by water vascular system. So you have to remember water vascular system. This water vascular system is also called as ambulacral system. Okay. ये water vascular system पोरिफेरेंस में भी होता है, जिसे हम कहते हैं कैनल सिस्टम, ओस्टिया, ओस्कुलम, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड, और ये इकाइनोडर्मेट्स में भी होता है. तो नॉन कॉर्डेट्स में 2 ही फाइलम्स है जिसमें वाटर वास्कुलर सिस्टम है, एक है पोरिफेरा, दूसरा इकाइनोडर्म. फिर ये दोनों को छोड़ के किसी में भी वाटर वास्कुलर सिस्टम नहीं है क्या किसी में?
No, sir.
राइट. सो ये मतलब ये 2 फाइलम्स आर प्रोमिनेंट. की स्पेशलिटी वाटर वास्कुलर सिस्टम का है. ओके.
सर वो ट्यूब फीट में आपने कौन सा एग्जांपल लिखा है?
What? Once repeat it. Meet once repeat the question.
रेस्पिरेटरी ट्री वाले में आपने कौन सा एग्जांपल लिखा है?
होलोथूरिया.
सर वो कट रहा.
हाँ, कट रहा है, बराबर. ओके.
यस सर.
तो आपको भी ऐसा लगता होगा कि सर का क्लास समझना तो आसान है, मगर हैंडराइटिंग समझना मुश्किल है ना? यस सर. नो कभी लगा
Sir, in some words, your handwriting is not understandable at all.
What, Shravani? I have not got you.
Sir, in some words, your handwriting is not understandable at all.
Yeah. Why? Because what is the thing means board is small and we have to write everything on that. But wherever you feel the problem, no, you say me. I will try to write separately, or I will rub and again I will write.
सर वो पेरिस्टोमल
Yes, sir.
गिल्स का एक बार वापस लिख दो.
पेडिसेलेरिया का स्पेलिंग लिखो क्या?
नहीं सर, वो पेरिस्टोमल गिल्स का आपने एग्जांपल लिखा है ना, वो क्या लिखा है वो समझ नहीं आ रहा.
See here, in our echinodermate, when we speak about respiratory organs, dermal branchia are present in starfish. Respiratory tree is present in Holothuria. Bursae are the structures which are present in brittle star. Peristomal gills, these are present in Echinoidea. Echinoidea is one class of starfishes, one class of echinodermates. So in them, for the respiration, they have gill-like structures, gills. Fishes will also have gills. So these gill-like structures are gills which are present in Echinoidea. They are specially named as peristomal gills. Okay. Right. Now that striking feature, anyhow, you have to remember that water vascular system is an important system in them. Okay. Now circulation, open type. Respiratory pigment is absent. Hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment. No, respiratory pigment इनमें नहीं होता है. It means blood is generally colorless. Okay. In this animal, there is no heart. Only liquid will be flowing. Heart is also absent. Okay. Understood the point here. Now they do not have special excretory system. Excrete is absent. They do not exhibit special excretory system in their body. Okay. So the waste materials which are formed in the will be diffusing out of the body. So waste materials diffuse out of the body. Okay. So if I write like this way, it is now clearly understandable.
Yes, sir.
अभी clearly थोड़ा समझ में आ रहा है क्या?
Sir,
हाँ मीत.
सर इसमें एक्सक्रीटरी सिस्टम नहीं होता है तो फिर सर इसका ट्यूब विद इन ट्यूब बॉडी प्लान कैसे हुआ?
Listen here. Tube within tube body plan means what? They are having mouth and anus. Okay. Now, in our, when you speak about excretion is of two types. Generally, what we have, we excrete urine, we excrete stool, right? So here, excretory system is absent, indicates that kidneys are not present in them. But when you take the lower animals, instead of kidneys, flame cells, green glands, coxal glands, like this way, special structures were there. Okay. So in these animals, some amount of excretory material is liberated out through the anus, and some amount of the excretory material by the process of diffusion, it is going out of the body. Okay. So when we speak excretory system, we have to speak in terms of kidney.